I do have slides, and I hope that doesn't disappoint General Morris, because unlike Colonel Irizarry, General Morris is in my rating chambers. General Lowe asked me to talk a little bit about my command support to U.S. Southern Command. And it's going to be a very short talk, because I'm sorry to say that I am not providing the support to U.S. Southern Command that I would like to provide. And as I go through this, I think you'll see why. When I took command about 30 months ago, first thing I did was do a mission analysis and restate my mission. And the mission, when I took command, was that the command provides support to U.S. Southern Command. But we no longer provide support solely to U.S. Southern Command. In fact, we now provide the majority of our support to U.S. Central Command, and our support to U.S. Southcom is truly an economy of force mission. This is what my command looks like today. USACAPOC has 7 civil affairs brigades, 4 civil affairs commands. So I'm the stuckee as the KCOM with only 1 brigade. Today is the 358 Civil Affairs Brigade, and it's commanded by Colonel Toby Pennells, who's right now sitting in Kuwait awaiting an aircraft to deploy his headquarters back to Norristown, Pennsylvania. And as we reorganize here in the next 5 or 6 months, I will assume command of the 321st Civil Affairs Brigade, commanded by Colonel Mark McQueen, who's back there somewhere. And we will pick up the 402nd Civil Affairs Battalion from the 352, and it will relocate from upstate New York to Puerto Rico. Now, as you can see, this is not the U.S. Southern Command area of operations. This is U.S. Central Command area of operations, and half of my command is deployed in U.S. CENTCOM right now in Afghanistan, Iraq, and the Horn of Africa. 358 headquarters is deployed along with a number of its subordinate units. The basic building block of the Civil Affairs Force, the Civil Affairs Team A, or CAT A, I have, of those in my command, 2/3 of them are deployed. So I have very little assets left back in the United States to provide support to Southcom. This is how my command interfaces with Southcom. We have 7 civil affairs planning teams in the command headquarters, and each of those planning teams has a doctrinal mission to provide support to a subordinate element of Southcom or to the Southcom headquarters. And we have aligned those planning teams with the Southcom headquarters and with the subordinate elements of Southcom. And the guidance I've given those planning team leaders is you will become part of that command. When the command has a civil affairs question, they will pick up the phone and call you at your civilian place of business if necessary. And that has succeeded fairly well to this point. I came in a little late this morning, but I heard some mention of Southcom's effort as far as the interagency piece goes. And in case it wasn't mentioned, the Southcom Commander, Admiral Stavridis, has reorganized his staff, and the J9 is now truly an interagency staff section. It's headed by a State Department senior executive, and that creates interesting questions for us, because the J9 now does much of what our KCOM level CMOC did, and we're currently looking at the roles and missions of our KCOM level CMOC and how we interact with the J9. Our Civil Affairs Plans, Programs, and Policy Team, or CAP3T, is our staff plug with U.S. Southcom. General Morris mentioned that we have got to get a presence in the Combatant Command headquarters. I'll tell you that in the 350 Civil Affairs Command, we are there in Southcom. Our CAP3T spends probably 2 out of every 3 months every 3 battle assemblies at the Southcom headquarters in Miami. That's where they do their annual training. They're well known. And they've become an indispensable part of the Southcom staff because U.S. Southern Command has only 2 full-time civil affairs officers, and that's what John Morris is alluding to. 2 HER officers, a lieutenant colonel and a major, in the J3 shop. That is the sum total of the CA staff capability at U.S. Southern Command. This is what we did do in fiscal year 07. The different colors here are represent the executive agents for these exercises. The blue color is the South AF. The green color is USARSO, U.S. Army South, soon to be 6th Army. The red is MAR4 South, and the purple is the Southcom headquarters itself. But we did participate in these 7 exercises, and the way we did it is strictly providing operational and strategic level support from my headquarters. Because as I said, the vast majority of my tactical assets are deployed. And what has remained behind has been fully engaged in providing civil affairs support at the combat training centers, the National Training Center, Fort Irwin, and Joint Readiness Training Center at Fort Polk. This is what we were unable to do because half my command, which is a portion of the Southcom, is deployed in CENTCOM. And these are the things that we normally provide CAD-As to cover down on. I want to talk about 3 major exercises that we supported this past year. Panamax was the capstone U.S. Southcom exercise. JCS sponsored exercise that just finished last month. And it was interesting for what occurred during that exercise. The purpose of this exercise was to certify the 2nd Fleet, which is the maritime component of U.S. Southern Command, to act as a Joint Task Force headquarters. And we placed our Civil Affairs Planning Team afloat on the USS Wasp as part of the Combined Joint Maritime component of U.S. Southern Command for that exercise. Those were the objectives of the exercise, but what happened at the end of the exercise was very interesting. Some of you may recall that while that exercise was ongoing, a Category 5 hurricane hit Nicaragua. The USS Wasp, which was the flagship of the Maritime Component Command, was remissioned. The majority of our team disembarked. The Navy asked us specifically to leave a CA planner on board to help with the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. So we transitioned from exercise support to real-world humanitarian assistance, disaster relief on board a ship in support of the Navy. And these are some of the pictures from that mission. That is Major Dennis Edwards, who's my headquarters company commander. You can always tell the CA guy because you just look for the guy in sunglasses. But he is the officer that was left aboard the USS Wasp for about 2 weeks to participate as a CA planner on on that staff.
Was that an Elvis on Velvet there? Yeah, we were down there.
Actually, Dennis came from a 351, so. Excellent, actually. Trade winds was the second big exercise that we supported last fiscal year. And the executive agent for this exercise was MAR4 South. And my planning team that supports MAR4 South had the lead for us on this exercise and deployed to support it in Belize. 16 nations. It was primarily a train-the-trainer exercise.